You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
Welcome back to the program. I'm Zev Brenner. To Israel we go. And with us once again is Rozmaryn, Director of Global Development for Meir Panim Relief Centers. And they do so much to help people all year round, especially during COVID. And now with the Ukrainian crisis, also with refugees coming to Israel, we'll talk about that as well. But Mimi, first let me welcome you back to the program. And it seems like such a long time ago. I'm going to ask you how was Purim, but it seems like ages ago.
Yes, I agree. Purim was beautiful. Meir Panim, we live to give. And every week we feel like we're privileged to be able to provide for our communities and people in need, and especially Purim, to bring so much joy and festivity was amazing. But again, also it feels like it was just a week ago, but it feels like a lifetime ago.
Right. Certainly was it's a lot happening. In fact, the number one thing that people are talking about, it's a major item, is of course is Ukrainian Jews, and they're leaving. Their houses have been destroyed, their lives have been ruined, and while they're going to surrounding countries, they're starting to come to Israel. And I believe, according to what I've been told, there could end up being at least 100,000 Ukrainian Jews in Israel. Right now, it's a smaller amount, obviously just starting to come in. But I know Meir Panim deals with not just giving food and soup kitchens, but you have centers and you deal with all kinds of issues that people need help with. So I don't think we've barely gotten out of the pandemic when we're dealing now with this crisis. But let's look at what's happening. Ukrainian Jews are coming to Israel. Meir Panim is at the forefront of helping them, but they need more help than just being fed food.
Yes, it has been, we're all watching the news and we're all feeling so incredibly humbled and helpless for this population that are experiencing things that we never have seen in our lifetimes. And as soon as we heard that Israel was going to be starting to bring in refugees, we responded, and we've already begun responding. Our branch managers, as you said, have gone really from crisis to crisis. Just as the Omicron wave is fading, the unemployment rate in Israel is finally back to the pre-pandemic level. We're seeing, as you said, up to 100,000 new refugees coming here to Israel. So far, about 8,000 have come in. And we are starting to see them in our branches, people that are settling with friends or family, people they know in our local areas.
No, I mean, it's starting to happen, but here's the situation though, because a lot of the refugees are coming in without husbands, without fathers, or you have a heavy influx of women, at least at this point, and children. And you have people coming in, they don't have a penny to their names. Even if they were affluent or had money in Ukraine, they have just the clothes on their back. So it's not just feeding them. You have to give them food. You have to clothe them. You have to give them an apartment place where to live. And I would suspect that going through the ravages of war, you also have to deal with trauma, with psychological issues, especially with young kids. So let's look at that. I know Meir Panim provides all these services, but now you have where everybody needs it at once and right away. Right?
Yes, absolutely.
And we're really, you can't just have them sleep on the floor.
It's true. And we are really, I feel like we're in a place of privilege, and we're in an organization that's small enough that we can be nimble, and we have incredibly dedicated and passionate staff. So I'll give you a couple examples. As soon as our branch managers heard that refugees were coming to Israel from Ukraine, they felt a moral responsibility to help take care of them. And we had signs printed in Ukrainian and Russian and Hebrew, welcoming to our branches in the front, so that they can understand what we do, that we're here to help, that we're happy that we are here to help them, to be their safety net, and to give them whatever they need. And we have seen a number of refugees come in, specifically in our Or Akiva town, and our town in our location in Tiberias, and our Dimona Center in the south. Dimona is a city that has been preparing and has raised their hand that they're willing to accept and manage the settlement of many refugees when they, I think when they do come in larger waves. And so we've already been in meetings and preparing with our local municipalities and our connections at the welfare institutes and all the ministries of health to help serve as a key safety net and a key partner in helping these people get on their feet once again.
I just want to share with our audience, Meir Panim has really expanded over the years. We're started out being more of a soup kitchen and feeding the hungry, where now you are very expansive. You're doing so many different things. Just give us an overview again of what Meir Panim does on a day-to-day basis, and we're going to focus on what they're doing for the Ukrainians.
Sure. So we've been around for 21 years. And as you said, we're most well known for our restaurant style soup kitchens, which is the core of our work. And I think, like many organizations, as we became more embedded and more a part of the fabric of the community, we have expanded and increased our offerings to serve really more as a community needs center and as an overall safety net for people that come. So one thing that is relatively new that we've been doing is providing furniture. We have warehouses of furnishings and clothing. So as you said, when these refugees come with nothing, people know that they can drop off things at Meir Panim, and people are telling these refugees and the ministry, all of the people that work that are supporting them in the government offices are coming to us also to get these supplies because they know we're a source connecting people that have to give and people that need a helping hand.
So now it's really coming in handy because they're coming in and they need help and all kinds of different kinds of assistance, which Meir Panim is providing to them. You had one nice story, a Purim story.
Yeah.
I'd love you to share with us.
Yes, we did. We've had
all that's going on. There's
absolutely
something we can smile about, right?
Oh my goodness, absolutely. And I think every day people say, like, it's so hard to see the people that come in and are in need. And I think it's so amazing that Meir Panim exists, and it's so amazing that we get the honor to help these people and be their helping hand during this difficult time. So I was sharing with you a little earlier this incredible story. A young woman came in, 20 years old. She only speaks Russian and Ukrainian, so our staff was only able to intimate and kind of speak through the communication and nonverbal magic about how we could help her and what we could provide to her. She's 20, and she came with her 15-year-old brother. As you said, men between the ages of 18 and 60 can't leave Ukraine right now. So she came into our Orakiva branch about 2 weeks ago, very largely pregnant, and came in and got, clothing, basic furnishings, a couple things. She's staying with some family members, but people that also aren't in great socioeconomic standards. So they don't have the ability to just buy her a wardrobe. And her brother. So they came in, they got clothes, they got some basics, they got some baby clothes that we were providing to her, some bottles, rattles, all those things you need in the first weeks. And we actually read in the paper on Purim Day that she gave birth to a healthy, beautiful baby boy on Purim. And it was the first child born from a refugee. So a little Israeli Sabra has come into this world, and we feel so privileged that we were able to help her and continue to help her as she navigates this very, very intense transition in her life, and without the network of family and friends that she might be used to having back home in the Ukraine.
Don't tell me the baby's name is Mordechai.
Yeah, it didn't say in the paper what the baby's name is. It said it was a boy. Oh, I guess it would be 8 days. So I guess we would only be hearing the name. The next time we talk, hopefully I'll be able to give you an update.
We have information.
Yeah. Yeah.
The miracle of what happened on Purim.
Yes.
All just aside, the problem is so serious because Israel, listen, you and I have discussed it. Meir Panim has been under strain. You had dealt with COVID, and that put restrictions, and more people needed assistance. And you can't even take a deep breath. The minute the COVID started to subside, now we have the Ukrainian situation where you have 8,000 already there. Could be up to 100,000 coming in very, very shortly. You have to prepare for that. There's now a global crisis with rising prices. Which means, and it affects Israel as well. So if you have to feed a family now, it's going to cost you more than maybe a month ago. I don't know how it is in Israel. I hear in America where there might even be meat shortages and other food shortages before the Passover holiday. So I don't know what the situation in Israel. I'm sure you have similar kinds of situations there. So doesn't it put an extra strain on you where now the same thing costs more than it did a week ago or 2 weeks ago?
Absolutely. I would say, one thing we have seen is the cost of food has risen dramatically during the pandemic and even in the last couple of months. And I think one thing that you guys are facing in the US that we're always facing all year round is the very high price of gas. I know you guys are really paying for this, paying for all of this at the pump. And in Israel, someone actually just did the conversion for me. Our regular standard gas prices are the equivalent of $7.75 a gallon here in Israel. And it went up last Monday to even more. And
Wow.
so that was just one little thing that I didn't even realize about the cost of living here, that it is so much higher.
So it's not just you're paying more for food or any supplies that you need, but now even transport. And listen, you work Meir Panim works where you go visit, a lot of the people in different parts of the country. So your transportation costs are going up too.
Exactly. And our Meals on Wheels costs are going to go up along with the price of gas. And, I think from what I understand, if food comes on a truck, trucks need gas, and this, even if a family in need doesn't have a car, it's not an issue for them. We are going to all feel the trickle down effects of the rising gas prices. And as I said, we are here to give all that we can give in a responsible way to help families bridge the gap. And although we did see, the numbers for COVID, thank God, have gone down, and we feel like we've exited the worst of it. Tourism is back in full swing here in Israel, which is amazing to see. And many people are back to work, which is a blessing and something we don't take for granted. The financial effects of the last 2 years are something that will not be resolved just by health, by health being resolved and people getting back to work, because people are recovering from 2 years of intermittent work, 2 years of illness, 2 years of really being behind on bills and mortgages and rent. And so we feel like, we're so grateful that tourists are back here. We're so grateful that the unemployment rate is back down, but we're in it for the long haul, both for the Ukrainian refugees who need us more than we've ever been needed before, but also for our core communities who just need a helping hand to get through the next few months and year.
We're sharing with me, Rozmaryn, Director of Global Development, Meir Panim Relief Centers, and they help with relief, food, whatever is needed to help families cope with living in Israel, and now we're dealing with Ukrainian refugees. We're going to give it again later on in the program, Mimi, but can you also tell people where they can help Meir Panim for Pesach and year-round, especially now
Yes.
Ukrainians coming in?
Yes, absolutely. So you can come visit at our website, and that's mp.org. meirpanim.org, and you can call through a toll-free hotline 1-877-7-DONATE, and come visit our website, mpdonate.org. You can learn more about what we do. You can get updates as to the newsletters, which highlight each of the projects that we're taking on each week. And again, I feel like we're in this beautiful position where we have an infrastructure and we have 5 branches throughout the country to be able to help, but we're also small enough that we're nimble enough that as we see their community needs shifting, we're able to meet them quite quickly.
No, it's daunting because, and I keep telling people, I don't want to harp on it, but people are waiting to get a breath of fresh air, a breath of relief from COVID, and now we got to deal with Ukrainian, which happened almost immediately, and now Pesach is coming. Now, generally speaking, in America and in Israel, when Pesach comes, the price of food always goes up. Forget inflation, it goes up. That's what people have been talking about for years. Now you have the price has gone up because of inflation. It goes up because of Pesach. And I would assume that your demand is not just with the Ukrainian Jews, but the volume of business, when I mean business, I mean the volume of work that you have to do to help people always goes up because more people need help during the Passover holiday. So now you're dealing with that and you're dealing with the Ukrainian situation.
Pesach is always one of the busiest weeks of the year for Meir Panim. In general, we're providing a few different options to help take care of people. We do in a few of our branches, seders we actually host. And this year we are back, thank God, to in-person seders at our branches, which is amazing. We also provide ready-made seder meals for families to take home. We provide grocery shopping carts for people to be able to go into the store and buy staples on their own. And we also provide baskets of pantry goods. So to help people supplement what they're purchasing. So oil, matzah, all of the things that people, sugar, all of the staples that we can provide, we really are trying to help take care of our community, especially during the holidays.
I could imagine. And how many people would you say benefit during the Pesach season, generally what Meir Panim does in its various centers throughout Israel?
Yeah, the numbers are incredible. So for this year, I would say before, not factoring all of the refugees, and the situation is evolving. We've seen probably about 50 new faces that are from the Ukraine in our branches already. But we don't know what that's going to look like over the next 2 weeks as new flights are coming every day. Many of them are going to absorption centers and the government is caring for them. But those that may have relatives or connections in near one of our locations, we're certainly seeing. So we've seen more people, but in general, what we were planning to do for Pesach was 15,000 Seder meals, 10,000 holiday shopping cards, and 15,000 pantry baskets to go out to families.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to deal with. Wow.
We've already started. Our branches, they all had their matzahs delivered this week. We're starting to get products. They're not koshering their kitchens just yet because we have, the weeks ahead in order to provide for, but they're starting to set up storage and organization to switch over the kitchens, planning, ordering all of the things they need, and like staging areas to prepare all of the holiday baskets.
Do you have to start learning how to speak Russian and Ukrainian?
Yes, that I know. My bubby was actually Russian, and I did not, unfortunately, learn any Russian for her, but I learned a couple words that our branch managers taught this week. No panimai means I don't speak Russian, and spasiba is thank you. So, we'll get our branch managers a glossary of some keywords that can help them, and we'll be using a lot of Google Translate. And as an immigrant mom in this country, I know Google Translate is already my right hand. So I get to teach our staff a little bit what it means to communicate in a language you're not as used to.
I'll give you another word that can be used. We're going to tell our audience to divide jengi, which means help fund what's going on, give money.
Okay, yes, absolutely. And everything that we do is because of generous donors that open their hearts and open their wallets and provide for us. And, we are a privately run organization. We are a 501c3 in America. We do everything we can do in order to be able to give. And it's an incredible honor. It's a zechut to be able to be the connector between people that have to give and people that really need a helping hand. It's an incredible position, and we're so grateful for our supporters.
No, you need help, especially now. Well, let's give out that information too, where people can learn more about Meir Panim. If you're in Israel, go visit one of their centers. But where can people learn more and contribute? Where can they? That's in Russian. Divide jengi.
Yes, there you go. So the website is mpdonate.org. And the phone number is 1-877-7-DONATE.
We're looking at the situation in Israel, how they're dealing with the upcoming Passover holiday, both for the Ukrainian refugees coming in and those in Israel that need assistance. I wanted to focus, Mimi, on something that I touched on a little bit before. And I know that in COVID, you had to deal with people with psychological issues and people that have passed away and close relatives. The death rate was unfortunately quite high. But here you're dealing with people coming in from Ukraine, where they're coming with, in most cases, without a father or husband, because if you're between 18 and 60, Ukrainians looking to get you into the military, which I understand they need they need the manpower. But you have families that are coming in without a relative, without the father or without the husband. You have kids that have seen the trauma of war, that may have seen killings and shootings and just running away from your home and leaving everything behind. So both the women and the children, even the men that are coming in, need psychological help and need that kind of assistance. So how is Meir Panim dealing with that aspect?
That is an incredible question. And I think that we have already started talking to our staff in Sderot. As you know, we run 3 teen evening centers in Sderot, where 40% of the teens in that region face PTSD. So our staff in those 3 centers are really well equipped and have been giving us key advice to help us just begin to understand how to deal with and how to help people that have had trauma in their lives. I think this beautiful country will be helping them across the board with trauma treatment and therapy and all of those medical side. And I think what we can do is really focus on giving them support, letting them know we're there to help them, even with the language barrier. I think one of our branch managers said it so beautifully. The language of love and caring, it goes beyond language, and to show people that we're here and we care about them is where our area of expertise lies. And that's what we plan to do. We always are working with our local municipalities and our health, the HMOs here in Israel, to help make referrals and to help serve as a foundation. But we're going to try to focus on using our best foot and our expertise, which is providing meals, connecting people that have and people that need. And I think here in Israel, the way that we're all, at least people that I've spoken to, everyone wants to give. And people feel a real serious responsibility to help these refugees, especially people like me and a lot of people I know that have made Aliyah. I remember how hard it was to go through all the paperwork and to sign up for all of the banks and the insurances and all the stuff in a foreign language. And albeit, thank God, I did not have to do that while fleeing a war with half of my family. So I think what a lot of people are hoping to do is to find those that have been in this situation and have made Aliyah, people that have made Aliyah from the former Soviet Union, maybe in the last 10 years that could be advisors and help the refugees and the new immigrants, just in terms of getting through the bureaucracy and the paperwork in their own language. So everyone wants to help. I think in our neighborhood here, there were families that were packing up mishloach manot that they maybe didn't want their kids to eat and helping them get to refugees just to brighten their day and to show that as a community, we're here to support them. And I actually have a big bag of candy to bring next time I'm on site in one of our locations. So a lot of grateful moms to get a lot of the candy out of their house, but really taking this moment to educate our children and our families about what's important in life and how to help when people need help.
Well, certainly, I'm sure the youngsters, maybe some of the adults will love the candy, sweeten up
Yes.
them a little bit, to bring them a
Yes.
sample of sweetness that Israel can offer. Are you able to get more Russian or Ukrainian speaking volunteers to help you?
We have been trying. And again, the situation is evolving. The Russians and the Ukrainian refugees that we have been seeing in our branches generally are staying with people they're connected with, friends or family. So they have people here to help them navigate the process. The people they may be staying with might not have enough money to help them get on their feet and to help feed them, and that's something we can do. We're really preparing for what it's going to look like over the next weeks and months if 100,000 new faces come into this country that are coming from this traumatic place. And I think people that have that ability, people that have that skill set of being able to be both fluent in Hebrew and Russian are feeling really excited to use it and to help them in many different ways.
They're going to be in high demand, that's for sure. Because people,
absolutely.
Right, because Israel absorbed 1 million Russian immigrants in the 1990s. This will be the next big wave with so many
absolutely
people, but a little different situation because of coming from a different country. So before you know it's going to be Pesach, you have to give out all the foods, the wines, and dealing with the immigrant situations. I know things are already into motion. People are starting to get ready for the Passover holiday. Like I said, looming on the horizon. So people that are listening and watching our program today, let's give information how they can be involved, because this is critical, especially for the Ukrainian Jews coming in, need everything from scratch. They just literally have the clothes on their backs. So it's good that you have furniture and you have other means of helping them, but they're going to need a lot of assistance, as we've been talking about. And certainly people that are listening to us now can play a very vital and important role to make sure that not only the Ukrainian Jews coming to Israel, but also Jews that are living in poverty. Let's face it, we didn't really talk about it, but there are a lot of Jews right now in Israel, whether it's because of COVID or rising prices, that are having trouble making ends meet and going to rely on you even more than they have in the past.
Absolutely. And, even before, we knew that 1/3 of Israelis live on or below the poverty line. And this is a very expensive country to live in. The most expensive city in the world just came out recently this year is Tel Aviv, which is
Most expensive
crazy.
in the world. Wow. But
The
it's
most
also one of the
expensive
top
city in
10
the
of the happiest people are in Israel, right?
Yes, number nine, happy and expensive and very expensive gas.
But expensive gas and expensive prices, but they're
Yes.
still happy, which is
Yes.
great. But one of the reasons being is that Meir Panim is able to help people in need, so they're able to cope, because you are a safety net. You're a lifeline to people that need help, especially during holiday time. But with rising prices, there are a lot more people that ordinarily made it on their own are now coming and say, listen, I need assistance because things have gotten out of hand.
Absolutely. And our name, Meir Panim, it translates into brightening someone's face, brightening the faces. And that is really what our core mission is, to really serve as a safety net to help one person at a time. Every person that comes into a Meir Panim Center has a story, has a face, has a history. And we have this amazing opportunity for them to help give them a helping hand, serve as a safety net. And our goal is to break the cycle of poverty. So as these refugees come in, to help turn them from traumatic war refugees to functional members of society who can integrate with the resources and help them and their next generation become wonderful citizens of this melting pot of a country.
No, it's wonderful that they're coming in, the assistance, and I know people open up their hearts. Now we're just asking people to open up their wallets as well to help Meir Panim.
Yes.
Let's give out the information where people can go online or call, whatever means that you feel comfortable with, to help make sure that Israelis, both those that are living there and those that are coming in from Ukraine, are going to have food and other items to make it a very happy Pesach holiday for them, despite all the problems that they've been facing up until now.
Yes, so you can visit us on our website at www.mpdonate.org. And you can not only donate there, you can donate there, of course, but you can also learn about all of the things we do throughout the country and all of our mission. And you can also call toll-free 1-877-7-DONATE to speak to a representative and give over the phone.
And make sure you donate. And if you're in Israel, make sure you contact Meir Panim. You can visit one of their centers and see what they're doing firsthand. They encourage that. Mimi Rozmaryn,
Absolutely.
right? You encourage people to come, and we'll give.
I would love it. Now, starting March 1st, where you were able to have tourists back, and now it's such a blessing. We've had many tourist groups come through already. Well, individuals volunteering that are part of their trip. People that are coming over the summer planning to do a volunteer day. Whether you have an interest in volunteering or just want to come and learn and see, we are thrilled after 2 years of not being able to welcome anyone in person to have you guys come on in.
Mimi Rozmaryn, Director of Global Development, Meir Panim Relief Center. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for the work that you're doing. And I don't envy the goals that you have ahead of you because of the new influx of refugees from Ukraine, but I know you're rising to the challenge. And thank God that you and your volunteers of Meir Panim are able to help people in the most difficult situations. So thank you for what you're doing.
Thank you, Zev. And thank you for sharing our story. The most powerful thing is people telling each other about what our work is and what our goals are. And the more people that we can share our message and our meaning with, the more we can rely on our amazing network of supporters to help us, that'll enable us to do what we do.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for listening. For continuous Jewish programs, TalklineNetwork.com, or our 24-hour-a-day listen line at 641-741-0389. For past shows, you can find us on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon, YouTube, Instagram, and all major podcast platforms, or jewishpodcast.org. Thanks for listening to the TalklineNetwork.com.